Welcome back to Neuroconversant Leadership, where we talk about effective communication in the STEM workplace. Usually, except that this one's going to air on January 2nd, 2025, so I want to talk about New Year's resolutions. Do you have a New Year's resolution that's something like eat healthier, exercise, and get more sleep? Think it'll work? Has it ever worked before? Today we're going to talk about 7 things you can do to help make it much more likely that you'll stick to your New Year's resolution. Eat healthier, exercise, and get more sleep is a doomed resolution. They're all great goals, and they're all pretty simple, but simple and easy are not the same thing. Choosing broccoli over cake is simple, but at the end of a long, tiring, frustrating day, your blood sugar's low, you're starving, and you want something right now, the ability to choose broccoli over cake is not easy. Simple, not easy. And there are 3, if you have 3 goals, each one of them takes willpower and each one of them requires the building of habits. So the first thing you can do to make it more likely to succeed is only make one change at a time. A while ago, I decided I was going to eat better. And I knew I should also be upping my exercise and I should be getting better sleep, but I also knew that if I tried to do all 3 things, the chances of any one of them sticking would be minimal. Speaking of minimal, make the commitment minimal. That's number 2. Getting started is the hard part, so this thing should be something that's really easy to start and easy to maintain. Don't worry if it seems like too small of a commitment or too small of a deal. If you can start with a small one, make it stick, then you might either find it expanding so that you do more of the thing that you set out to do, or once it's so solid, then you can go ahead and add another change, another thing to implement. So to make this one simple, rather than changing what I actually eat, which would require planning ahead and shopping and cooking and willpower, I decided to just change when I eat. So instead of having the general eat healthier, I'm going with I will fast from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. And for me, choosing not to eat is a much simpler thing than preparing, cooking, and buying all the food ahead of time. So make it minimal. Number 3 is make it as enjoyable as possible. And sometimes people ask me, what's the best exercise? And my response is always the same. What do you like to do? Just because one thing burns more calories, if you're not going to do it, it doesn't work. I like running and I like volleyball. I can tell you, sometimes getting myself to go for a run is a challenge. Playing volleyball is never a challenge. So if I were trying to just pick up the habit of exercise, I'd go with volleyball. I don't think it's as great an exercise as running is, but it's the thing that I know I will do. Number 4 is do something that has multiple benefits. Rather than having multiple goals, choose one simple goal that's as enjoyable as possible and has multiple benefits. So I said I'm fasting from 8 to 8. And really the goal for me was to cut out junk food at night, because after dinner watching television was the most likely time for me to bust out candy or chips, or sometimes both. Sometimes I like to have a bowl of popcorn and I put candy in it. So that's never great. But stopping at 8 got me to cut most of that out. And it turns out it's also good for your digestion. It's good for your sleep. It reduces blood sugar level. It actually improves mental clarity. So I did it for one benefit and I got 5. Speaking of 5, number 5 is tell someone about it. Knowing that someone's going to ask you how your new habit is going is very motivating. When someone asks me, I want to be able to say, it's going great. And I don't know if that's because I want to please them, or I don't want to disappoint them, or I'm prideful, or whatever it is. I just want to hold it over everybody that I'm doing great with mine. It doesn't matter. I know that having someone ask me is going to motivate me. So share it with someone. And then when they ask you, hopefully you can say, it's going great. Number 6 is have a trigger. Tie it to something that you already do every day. It makes it easier to remember, and it makes it faster to build up the habit. So 8 to 8 works well for me. Typically, I take the dog out at 8 p.m. And once I take the dog out, it's when I start winding down, start thinking about getting ready for bed. And once I'm in that phase, I just stick to only drinking water and not eating anything. Every morning I get up, I do all my morning rituals, I plan out my day, and I will always sit down at my desk at 8 o'clock and get to work. So once I'm at my desk and working, that's when I know that it's okay to eat again. So having those triggers that are already in place makes it a very simple way to stick with your new goals. Number 7 is start right now. Don't say next week or in the new year I'm going to. It's like getting in the ocean for me. If I start to walk into the ocean and I get a sense for how cold it is, sometimes I actually back out. I get to my knees and that's it. But if I just run right in, then I get through the hard part and I'm just immersed in the water. And then I can start having fun, playing in the waves. So if something's worth starting, it's worth starting right now. So my question for you is, do you have any New Year's resolutions? Or hopefully you have just one New Year's resolution for now. The 7 steps I outlined here certainly are not foolproof, but they have helped me be more successful at implementing change than I would be otherwise. So I think they're worth a try. If you have a New Year's resolution, let me know what it is. Send me a note and let me know how it's going. 80% of all resolutions are broken by the second week of February. So if you make it to Valentine's Day and you have stuck with your resolution, I am going to want to hear about it. Thank you so much for listening to Neuroconversant Leadership. If you found this beneficial, can you do me one small favor? It'll be quick, I promise. Can you go and give this podcast a review on Apple or Spotify or wherever it is that you listen before doing anything else? Unless you're driving. If you're driving, then I need you to keep driving. And then when you're done and parked, then go ahead and give me a review. Hopefully 5 stars, but whatever you are comfortable honestly giving. Thank you and have a great day.